Taking responsibility for your life is the moment everything begins to change, because it shifts the power from the world to your own hands. When Obama talks about responsibility, he isn't simply referring to admitting mistakes or owning failures. He is speaking about an inner decision to recognize that you have the ability to shape your path regardless of where you started. Life will always present difficulties, family pressure, financial struggles, lack of opportunities, criticism from others, but none of these obstacles can fully control your destiny unless you allow them to. Responsibility is the mindset that transforms excuses into action. It's the quiet inner voice that says, I may not have chosen everything that happened to me, but I choose what I become. When you take responsibility, you stop waiting for someone to rescue you. You stop hoping for perfect conditions or blaming unfair systems. Instead, you begin creating small changes that lead to big results. This might mean waking up earlier, studying more, practicing harder, or focusing on improving your character. Responsibility is not about being perfect, it's about being consistent. It's about understanding that every choice, even the small ones, builds your future. Each decision you make becomes a brick in the foundation of who you are becoming. Obama emphasizes that responsibility gives you freedom, the freedom to grow, to improve, to rewrite your story, and to rise above the circumstances you were born into. Taking responsibility also means being honest with yourself. It requires courage to admit when your own habits are holding you back. It takes strength to acknowledge when you are the one standing in your own way through procrastination, fear, or lack of discipline. But this honesty is powerful because once you confront your weaknesses, you can change them, and this change does not need to happen overnight. Even slow progress, when chosen deliberately, builds momentum. Most importantly, responsibility creates confidence. When you learn to rely on yourself, you begin to trust your abilities. You become stronger, more focused, and more determined. You stop being controlled by circumstances and start controlling your reaction to them. Obama's message encourages people to believe that taking responsibility is the first step toward building the life they dream of. It's the beginning of personal strength, the foundation of success, and the reason many ordinary people become extraordinary. Education and self-improvement are more than academic goals. They are tools that empower you to rise above limitations and reshape your future. When Obama talks about the value of learning, he is highlighting the fact that knowledge gives you control over your life. No matter who you are or where you come from, investing in your mind opens doors that would otherwise remain locked. Education doesn't just happen in classrooms, it happens in every book you read, every skill you practice, every conversation that teaches you something new. The world is constantly changing, and the people who succeed are the ones who keep learning. Self-improvement is a lifelong journey, and every new piece of knowledge increases your confidence, your ability, and your potential. Improving yourself means refusing to stay stuck in old thinking. It means challenging your own limitations and pushing yourself to grow. Obama emphasizes that the people who make progress are those who stay curious and hungry for knowledge. They ask questions, they explore new ideas, and they constantly seek to understand the world better. Learning shapes your character. It teaches patience, discipline, creativity, and resilience. Every time you study or practice something difficult, you develop the mental strength needed to face bigger challenges. Education also gives you independence. When you know more, you rely less on luck and more on your own capabilities. You gain the ability to analyze situations, make smarter decisions, and create better opportunities for yourself. This independence becomes a powerful shield against fear. People often fear what they don't understand, but when you have knowledge, you feel prepared. You become quicker in solving problems and more confident in expressing your ideas. Your voice becomes stronger because you can back your thoughts with understanding and clarity. Self-improvement is not only about academic learning. It is also about becoming a better version of yourself emotionally, mentally, socially, and professionally. It means learning from your mistakes, setting higher standards, and surrounding yourself with people who inspire you. It means practicing skills that help you grow, such as communication, discipline, and critical thinking. Obama's message is that education is the great equalizer. It gives everyone, regardless of background, the chance to move forward. When you commit to improving yourself every day, even in small ways, you begin to build a future that is stronger, brighter, and full of possibility. Failure is something every person experiences, yet many people allow it to define who they are. Obama's message makes it clear that failure is not a sign of weakness, but a powerful teacher that shapes your character and prepares you for success. When things go wrong, when your plans collapse, or when you face rejection, it is easy to believe that you are not good enough. But the truth is that every successful person has failed many times, often more times than they succeeded. What separates them from others is how they respond. Failure becomes meaningful only when you choose to rise after it. Each setback carries a lesson that makes you stronger, wiser, and more prepared for the future. Instead of treating failure as the end, Obama encourages people to see it as a starting point. It reveals what needs improvement and forces you to think differently. It pushes you to grow in ways comfort never will. When something doesn't work, you learn patience. When someone tells you no, you learn resilience. When a plan fails, you learn strategy. These lessons cannot be gained through success alone. Failure shapes your mindset, and your mindset shapes your destiny. The more you fail and rise again, the more unshakable your confidence becomes. You start to understand that failure cannot stop you unless you allow it to. Another powerful part of Obama's message is the idea that failure builds humility. It keeps you grounded and teaches you to value effort, discipline, and persistence. It teaches you to appreciate progress instead of expecting overnight success. Most great achievements come after years of setbacks that no one else sees. Behind every victory is a journey filled with mistakes, tears, and moments of doubt. But those who push forward learn something important. Perseverance creates breakthroughs. When you keep going despite difficulties, you begin to unlock potential you never knew you had. Lastly, failure helps you redefine your purpose. Sometimes things fall apart not because you are incapable, but because life is redirecting you towards something better. Failure clears the path for new ideas, new opportunities, and new beginnings. It forces you to rethink your goals and discover what truly matters to you. Obama's core message is this: failure is not your enemy. It is your partner on the road to success. If you embrace it, learn from it, and keep moving forward, nothing can stop you from becoming stronger, wiser, and more accomplished than you ever imagined. Serving others and contributing to something larger than yourself is one of the most meaningful principles Obama emphasizes, because true greatness is never achieved alone. When you decide to live with purpose beyond your own comfort, your life gains depth, direction, and fulfillment. Helping others does not always require grand actions. It begins with small acts of kindness, empathy, and responsibility toward the people around you. Obama's message highlights that leadership is not about authority or position. It is about impact. When you support others, you plant seeds of positive change that often grow far beyond what you can see. You become part of a chain of influence that strengthens communities, inspires hope, and encourages unity. Serving others also shapes your character. It teaches compassion, patience, and emotional intelligence, qualities that make you a better person in every part of life. When you help someone else succeed, you learn to appreciate different perspectives and experiences. You understand that everyone is fighting their own battles, even if those struggles are invisible. This understanding makes you more grounded, more grateful, and more connected to humanity. Obama believes that real power comes not from what you accumulate, but from what you contribute. Material success may bring temporary satisfaction, but improving someone's life brings lasting purpose. Another important part of this message is the idea that serving others strengthens society. Communities grow stronger when people care about each other, stand up for fairness, and work together for progress. Whether it's volunteering, speaking out against injustice, mentoring a younger person, or simply being supportive to family and friends, every act of service builds a healthier and more hopeful world. When people lift each other, the entire community rises. This sense of shared responsibility creates unity and helps solve problems that individuals alone cannot fix. Serving others also helps you grow personally. It teaches humility by reminding you that the world is bigger than your own challenges. It shows you that making a difference does not require perfection, only willingness. When you give your time, your energy, or your skills, you discover strengths you didn't know you had. You feel more confident, more capable, and more inspired, and most importantly, you realize that your life has value not just for what you achieve, but for what you contribute. Obama's message is clear. When you serve others, you step into a purpose that is larger, deeper, and more powerful than individual success. You become part of something that leaves a lasting impact on the world. Believing in hope and in your ability to shape the future is one of the most powerful messages Obama delivers, because hope is more than just a feeling. It is a driving force that pushes you forward when everything else seems uncertain. Hope gives you strength even when your surroundings tell you to quit. It is the inner voice that whispers, "Keep going," when the world is silent. Many people underestimate the power of belief, but the truth is that every major achievement begins with an idea, a dream, or a vision that someone believed in long before it became reality. When you hold on to hope, you give yourself permission to imagine something better, and that imagination becomes the seed of change. Hope also protects you from negativity and fear. Life is full of challenges, and there will be moments when you feel stuck, defeated, or overwhelmed. But hope reminds you that circumstances can change, opportunities can appear, and growth can happen even from the most difficult situations. Obama emphasizes that hope is not blind optimism. It is the courage to move forward despite the obstacles. It is the belief that your actions matter, that your effort has value, and that your future can be shaped by the choices you make today. When you choose hope, you begin to see possibilities where others see limitations. Another important part of this message is understanding that hope inspires action. It is not enough to simply wish for change. You need to work for it. Hope motivates you to take the first step, even if the path is uncertain. It encourages you to dream bigger, to set higher goals, and to stay committed even when progress is slow. People who believe in a better future are the ones who create it. They stay disciplined, they stay focused, and they refuse to let setbacks define their destiny. Hope strengthens your resilience, because when you believe in something deeply, you are willing to fight for it. Believing in hope also inspires others. When people see your determination, your optimism, and your commitment, they begin to believe that change is possible for them too. Your hope becomes a source of energy that spreads around you, lifting the people who feel discouraged or lost. Obama's message reminds us that hope is a shared force. It connects people and builds communities. It fuels movements, transforms societies, and turns ordinary individuals into leaders. In the end, believing in hope means believing in yourself, your purpose, and your ability to make a difference. It is the foundation of every meaningful step you take toward a brighter, stronger, and more promising future.